everyone, I hope you are well. So today I am filming a pregnancy update and I have really neglected doing this. With my last pregnancy, my first pregnancy, I did weekly updates and I actually haven't spoken to you guys since, well, my last video is kind of a pregnancy update, but I haven't officially kind of sat down and spoken to you all about pregnancy since I was 5 months pregnant. And I'm now 36 weeks pregnant, so technically, let me just work this out. Yeah, technically I'm 9 months pregnant. Obviously the last, is that right? Let me just check. Hang on, 36 divided by 4. Yeah, 9 months pregnant, because obviously technically you could go to labour at any point now. So yeah, 9 months pregnant, so I have skipped out on talking about 4 months worth of pregnancy, and there's a couple of reasons behind this. From 5 months I found out that I had a low-lying placenta and there were some concerns over that, which jeopardised my chances of having a vbac birth. So for anyone that doesn't know, that's a vaginal birth after a cesarean. My first baby was born by cesarean. So yeah, so that was a little bit of a Debbie Downer, and also that was really hard to talk about because once I'd given you like the lowdown on the situation and that it was happening, I wasn't going to know anything until I was 34 weeks pregnant about how that was going to play out. So once I'd kind of talked about that, that was all I really had to say because I didn't know any more information to pass on. And then the second reason that I haven't really spoken about it too much is because there wasn't really anything going on. So my first trimester was really easy. So I will talk about my first pregnancy quite a lot. If you don't subscribe or you don't know who I am, by the way, I'm Georgina, I am 25 years old. I'm a mum to one who is 15 months old and I'm currently 9 months pregnant, like I've said. So yeah, so what was I just saying? I will talk about my first pregnancy quite a lot because I think it gives quite a good like benchmark. So my first trimester with my first pregnancy with Rory was really crap. It was definitely the worst part of pregnancy. I felt sick all the time, I hated it. I was always really worried, always panicking over anything. This first trimester had about a week of feeling really unwell and then it was honestly like nothing had happened. Oh, and also with my first pregnancy I was really tired, like I couldn't keep my eyes open. And yeah, my first trimester this time, you wouldn't have even known, like it was a little bit worrying at times because it was just symptomless. And then second trimester, it was really good up until about 16 weeks and I had some kind of prenatal anxiety, which I also had in my first pregnancy around the same time. And then the tiredness suddenly kicked in and I was absolutely exhausted for about 4 weeks and we started getting really bad headaches. I do suffer quite badly from headaches when I'm tired. Which was really unusual because in my first pregnancy, the second trimester was the best. I loved it so much. I felt really confident, glowing, loads of energy, loved the second trimester. So I was really looking forward to it with this pregnancy, and it was not, like, it wasn't bad, it just wasn't great. Like everything was just like harder work, but everything still remained reasonably symptomless. Like I remember with my first pregnancy, like documenting every week, I'd be like, this week I had this and this week I had that. And I think with your second pregnancy, you're not paying as much attention and yeah, you're just not as in tune with things because you've got so much on your mind. Main symptoms for the whole pregnancy have been heartburn and reflux. I don't remember having reflux that badly with Rory, but heartburn I had really badly with Rory, and really badly, it's the other way around this pregnancy. I've got worse reflux than I have heartburn. Like both are still there, but I can feel like it's more painful like here. Like last night, for example, as well, anytime I rolled over there was like burning bile in my throat and I felt really unwell. That sounds disgusting, but I really didn't feel good last night and I had to kind of get Rich to get up and help me deal with Rory. because it just hurt to move. Like, it was really hard work. The things that I do to manage heartburn and reflux are, and I did this in my first pregnancy too, are consume more ice lollies than you think is physically possible. I really like the Tesco own brand ones that are £1. They're like sherbet, and I think it's £1 for 8. I know for a fact it's £1 for 8. They're my favourite ones. Yeah, ice lollies, that really helps the problem. Drinking milk, and also with this pregnancy I've discovered the art of apple cider vinegar, which is amazing for you as well, by the way. And that, it sounds like it would be counterproductive because obviously it's acidic, but it's really good for getting rid of heartburn and reflux. I think you're supposed to, it's best if you can drink it neat and like just do a shot, but I can't, so I dilute it in water. Like, I do like a shot worth and then dilute it in water. And yeah, first of all, it's not great, but you'll find yourself craving it like really, really quickly. So yeah, it is really helpful and it's worth looking into. It has to be apple cider vinegar with the mother, but that is definitely a pregnancy tip that I have learnt. But otherwise, yeah, she's been a reasonably easy pregnancy. Most of the pregnancy you wouldn't even know I was pregnant. It took a long time to get really big. Yeah, I could still, because it's winter, I've been wearing a lot of jumpers and stuff, and it's only now that I really can't get away with it. It's obvious that I'm pregnant, but a lot of people didn't even know. Like, my post lady has been my post lady for the whole time, and I think it was in like 2 weeks ago that she was like, oh my god, when are you due? And I think I must look smaller than I am, because a lot of people are shocked that I'm so close to my due date. But I am quite, I'll show you the bump later, but I am quite small within myself, and Rory's bump was quite small until the last 4 weeks. I actually think she's bigger than Rory, but nobody else agrees with me. Oh no, I think Rich thinks I'm bigger this time round. Yeah, I think I am bigger than I am with Rory, but I did have to have growth scans, but my body has changed a lot since having Rory. Like, I'm a smaller frame, so it might look bigger, I guess. I don't know. What else is going on? Yes, second trimester, apart from the tiredness, was really, really easy. The tiredness is due to the fact that I was really anemic, which got a lot worse in the third trimester. I'll talk about it anyway. Yeah, so when I gave birth to Rory, in my cesarean, I lost a third, I can't remember how many pints it is, I just can't remember, but basically it was a third of your blood I lost. So after I gave birth to Rory, because I didn't have a blood transfusion or anything like that, I was really anemic and really, really poorly. I had to have lots of like checks and tests and and yeah, I was really anemic and didn't fare very well. I thought it was all behind me, and then at my 12-week scan they mentioned that my iron levels were low, and they didn't do anything then. And then it was a few weeks later, God, not a few weeks, like months later, I think it was at my 28-week appointment with my consultant that she checked my iron levels, and she mentioned that they were so low that it wouldn't be possible to labour as it was at that point. Like, if I laboured and had the same blood loss that I'd had, it would be a life-threatening situation. So she was concerned and prescribed iron tablets, which I started taking, and they didn't really do much. And I know the whole drill, like take them with orange juice and stuff like that, and avoid caffeine, because I'd had to take them when I was postpartum with Rory, and they just weren't really doing anything. So I swapped to Spartone, which I do personally think helped. I don't know, like, I've obviously got a problem with the way my body absorbs iron, which I think like a lot of people do. The body doesn't kind of naturally absorb it, but Spartone I think makes it a little bit easier. But by the time I'd seen my consultant again, I was 34 weeks pregnant, and obviously time was not on my side to get my iron levels up, so I was prescribed a iron infusion. I think it's called Ferinject or Ferrisject or something like that, where they basically just put iron straight into your veins. which was really good. I still feel quite tired, and I think I was expecting it to be more of like a miracle cure than it has been. I think I was expecting to feel like, you know, the film Limitless, when they take the tablets and then they're like really clear-headed and like, yeah, I think I was expecting to feel like that. And obviously I am still heavily pregnant, so there's only so untired, and I've got a toddler, so there is only so untired I'm gonna feel. So I think I was a bit shocked to not feel better than I do, but I do feel better than I was. In the last few days before my iron transfusion, I just couldn't even move without feeling breathless and having heart palpitations. I think the day before I had my iron transfusion, I spent the day on the sofa with Rory and just let Rich look after me because I was so exhausted. It came right in the nick of time. They were concerned that, like, when I had my iron transfusion on the day, they checked my levels and basically kind of said that had it gone on in any longer, like my iron levels were no longer giving anything to me. They were just solely making sure the baby had what she needed. So that's why I felt so bad. And there wasn't much time left where she wouldn't be getting what she needed. And because I'm so late in pregnancy, like, I probably would have just gone into labour, but obviously at 30, I think I was 35 weeks pregnant. It's not like it wouldn't be perfect, and that's not what I would have wanted. I want to go into labour when I'm full term. So yeah, they were concerned about that. So my iron transfusion happened pretty quickly. Once they'd made that decision, it was like done within days. And then I was put on kind of rest for a few days afterwards because it takes a couple of days to kick in. And obviously there was still the concern that if I burnt up my iron store, then she would still want to come. Because obviously if your body isn't providing what the baby needs anymore, then she's better off out where she can get milk and stuff to give her what she needs. So yeah, so that was kind of quite, it wasn't scary, but it was quite difficult because I'm also not used to having I can't think of the word, like a monitored pregnancy, I think that's what I mean. And the whole low-lying placenta and stuff, along with the anaemia, meant that I had like a lot of consultant care, and there were lots of concerns. The low-lying placenta as well. So I found out at 20 weeks I had a low-lying placenta, so I had to wait to see if I needed a VBAC. And then there were concerns at around 28 weeks that my placenta had gone morbidly adherent, it's called, which basically means that it would be growing into my previous cesarean section scar, which can lead to like internal bleeding, and it makes the surgery way more complicated. There's chances that you're going to bleed out. If I had to have a cesarean because I had a morbidly adherent placenta, I would have to be put to sleep because there's so many chances that things would go wrong, and you don't want to be consciously awake for that, obviously. So that really put a shadow on the last few weeks of my pregnancy, and I was really worried about it and a little bit upset about the concept of, like, a morbidly adherent placenta is also classed as a life-threatening pregnancy. So that was quite hard to deal with, and it's also quite hard now that it's all quite bittersweet, because this sounds really stupid, but when I've had my scan at 34 weeks and found out that everything is fine. My placenta has moved as they thought it would, and I will be trying for vaginal birth. So all that worry was kind of for nothing. And it's difficult because I'm not really a worrier. Like, I kind of stand by the thought of there's no point in worrying about things because you can't change them. But I think as a parent and a mother, you don't want to think about your life being at risk when you already have somebody that's dependent on you. So I did find that quite hard, but there's nothing to worry about now because my placenta has moved and I will be trying for vaginal birth. So that's where we're at right now. I think that's pretty much covered everything. I feel like I've just repeated what I said in the last video, but I did want to kind of talk about symptoms and stuff a little bit more. But basically my pregnancies have been pretty similar. They were both really good pregnancies. Like, I can't really complain when it comes to pregnancy any more than, I don't know. Yeah, I can't really complain. Obviously I do, because I do find pregnancy generally quite, like, not difficult. I don't find pregnancy difficult, but I don't really enjoy being pregnant. I don't love it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Like I just feel indifferent. So, but I do have quite successful, good pregnancies. Like they don't really give me any jip or anything. What else did I want to talk about? I just thought of something. Oh yeah, physically, I would say that this has been a harder pregnancy than Rory's. Hard to say though, because I remember like moaning more with Rory and feeling more fed up, but I think that's because I was just fed up and wanted to meet Rory and become a mum. Well, this time round I'm a bit more chilled out about when she comes, and I'm embracing the last few weeks of being a mum to one and making sure that he has like undivided attention, and when she comes that's fine and it'll be great, but I'm kind of I'm on the fence. Like I'm excited for her to come, but also I'm enjoying the time, so it doesn't really make a difference. Whilst with your first baby I think you're just desperate for them to come from like week 7. So I remember like moaning a lot more and feeling way more fed up, especially from now. From 37 weeks pregnant, I think I was just pissed off during pregnancy, whilst this time around, like, I'm quite happy and quite okay. But this has been a physically harder pregnancy in the sense that my body is so not up to it. My belly hurts all of the time, like it just feels like it's gonna split open. Whilst in my first pregnancy I was really amazed that I didn't get that. Like I thought I would have that, and my belly held him really well. Whilst this time around I can like feel areas of tension and areas where the muscles clearly like hurt or thinner, or I don't really know how muscles work, but there's areas in my belly that are way more sensitive than like others, and I can feel her more prominently. If she kicks that area it's more painful. So yeah, physically it's a harder pregnancy. Like I said, my tummy hurts a lot. It's harder with Rory because he still is carrying a lot, and he's 26 pounds. So he's quite a heavy boy, and yeah, it's harder because I feel older. Like I don't feel like I feel like an older woman being pregnant. I don't feel like a 25-year-old when I obviously am and am more than capable of pregnancy. I just feel a bit more haggard and a little bit more like, I don't know. It's hard to say as well, because I don't know if that's a second baby thing or if it's the fact that both my pregnancies are really close together. They've obviously, I was only not pregnant for 7 months before I fell pregnant again. So yeah, I don't really know which is which. But that has had its moments. But generally, like with your second pregnancy, you crack on with it so much more. With my first, I used to like really kind of feel sorry for myself, and I did enjoy that. I think you should do that. Like I really do recommend kind of reveling in it. But this time I don't have a choice but to like get and do things and be as physically capable. I was like laughing because when I turned 36 weeks pregnant on Monday, my first day of maternity leave started at 36 weeks pregnant with Rory, and this time when I turned 36 weeks pregnant I was like out with him, swimming, working still, like cooking, cleaning the house, whilst I think with my first day of maternity leave with Rory I'd like cleaned the house ever so slightly, watched some Made in Chelsea, ate loads of really bad food, and then blogged, and like I was exhausted. Whilst this time around like it was just like a normal day, and I did find that quite funny. And it's quite nice though, because I feel like it's really hard to stay active in the last bits of pregnancy, and when you don't have a choice, because obviously I still have to be active for Rory, it's quite nice to kind of have that drive. The thing I will say with pregnancy, second time round, I did find this the first time round, is you have to listen to your body a lot more. And if I've got a headache, I know I'm tired. If I've got backache, I don't know, I'm way more in tune with things, and I'm way more inclined to eat better and sleep better because I have to be kind of on top game the next day for Rory. So I am way more like health conscious, because if I ate a day of just carbs and ate really badly and didn't like provide any nutrients, into my body, the next day I would be sluggish and miserable, and yeah. So I do try to drink a lot of like green juices, which sounds really poncy, but I just find it's the quickest way to make sure I've done something like proactive. I try to eat like a decent breakfast, drink loads of water, that kind of stuff. And it's just those small things that help me kind of get on with things a little bit better. But yeah, I think that is pretty much all there is to talk about. Like I say, like I'm not as in tune with things. I've taken very few like bump photos, which I do feel bad about. But yeah, it's just a waiting game now of when she comes. I'm way more organised with this pregnancy as well than I was my first. My first, Rory's stuff was all kind of like, the hospital bag stuff was like all there in that corner. But I would like dip in and out of it every now and again. Like I'd get my deodorant out and then put it back in and stuff like that. Like I didn't want to buy like multiples and pack it and seal it and be done with it. I would just go into it every day. So when my waters broke with Rory, I was still packing my hospital bag. Whilst this time round, my bag is packed, her bag is packed, our food bag is packed, like I've put stuff in there for Rich as well, and Rory's bag is packed because obviously if I go into labour overnight, he has to go either to my mum's, or even if my mum comes here, which I think she might do, I just want everything that he actually definitely needs to be in one place, so she doesn't like not know where things are, because he has like non-dairy milk, so that's in there because it doesn't have to be chilled. I bought a brand new packet of dummies because finding dummies in this house is horrendous. So I just wanted like a pack where I knew that they were there. I've put 2 bottles in there because that's all he'll need for like a 24-hour period, and she can just wash them, like pyjamas, spare clothes, nappies, and it's all in one place, so she doesn't have to like do a mad look around the house. Like even though she does generally know where things are, I think when you're under pressure and if she's got Rory, she might like forget or have to go looking, and I don't want to put like that extra stress on her. And also I think it's a control thing, because there's a lack of control, and I'm quite sad about that time away from Rory and a bit worried about it and how long it could possibly go on for, because I was in like labour with Rory for like active labour for 24 hours I think, no 12 hours, but I was in hospital for 24 hours before I got into, I was in hospital for like 28 hours, which probably wasn't necessary. I went in way too early, by the way, and I wouldn't do that this time. But I actually could end up doing that, because with a cesarean, a VBAC, you do need monitoring. So I am quite conscious of how long I could be in hospital for, and I'm not pushing to like leave like I did with Rory. So I think it's the control thing that I want to know that he has everything he needs, and I've done my bit there. I've also wrote out like this massive list of like all the local baby groups, suggestions on what she can do with him, his routine, and it's just like, I think it's just to make me feel better really. So I'm way more organised with this pregnancy, and all of her stuff is like set up, ready to go. Not that she has that much stuff, because it's a second time baby and you just don't buy as much. I just realised I forgot to show you the bump, which is like exciting part. Hang on, let me put you over there. Oh god, I've gone wrong already. I'm too zoomed in. Here is the bump. So she's pretty sprouted. But yeah, not massive, but I think, like I said, like I tend to, hang on. I tend to like pack on, oh my god, I've gone wrong. I tend to pack on the weight like in the last 4 weeks of pregnancy. So obviously that's from now onwards. So yeah, that's the bump. So yeah, I think that is everything I need to update you all on. If you have any questions, then please do ask. I would love to answer your questions. But yeah, it's just a waiting game now. I'm also booked in for membrane sweeps from 38 weeks pregnant, because, and I can't really remember or haven't asked, but when I had my first VBAC appointment, I was 16 weeks, so I think I can't remember. But they did mention that they don't like for you to go overdue with the VBAC, and I can't remember why. And I think it's because you'd have to be induced, and then induction rates tend to, like the percentage of an induction turning into a cesarean, you might as well have gone for the cesarean in the first place, or something like that. So they don't really like for you to go overdue, and I think it's because it puts extra pressure on your uterus, which is obviously at risk of rupturing. So yeah, I booked in for membrane sweeps, but sweeps. So I already have those, so they're trying to make sure that she comes early or on time. But I went into labour early with Rory, so I'm kind of not overly concerned about going overdue. Obviously I know all pregnancies are different and I probably shouldn't think that way, but it hasn't really crossed my mind that I could go overdue. I'm quite prepared for her to be on time. But yeah, anyway, I think that is all I have to update you on. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!